Good morning. I hope your Monday is off to a good start. I wanted to give you a little bit of an update and tell you a story behind the curtains of Annie Meehan, the motivational speaker. First, I wanted to say that yesterday was a really good day. We went to Celebration Church in downtown Naples. It's in the park outdoors in downtown Naples, right off the main street, and it was just really good. It was great to be at worship with Elizabeth and Stephen and Greg and I. It was great, and the dogs, of course, the dogs. It was a good message about this storm and about the storms in life and how God's always with us, even in the darkest and scariest of storms. But also that this Ian is not a sprint, but a marathon, that it's going to take a long time to rebuild our homes and our businesses and our lives. But also, I just think it takes a while to rebuild that feeling of safety and security. It's still hard for me to talk about the details of that 24 hours. It still makes me very emotional. And I think that if you weren't there, it's hard to understand. Though, since the hurricane, I can't tell you the number of people that I've heard from that have survived hurricanes. And I guess I had no idea. I had no idea what a hurricane was like or how much it shakes your body. And it took over 2 weeks for me to not wake up shaking. I still have nightmares sometimes, and that fear of, in my mind, just being sucked out of our condo and thrown into the world. And when people are complaining about how fast we're rebuilding or how quickly, I think the things that were carports, that were big, strong metal that protected our cars, were shredded. The power of the wind and the water is hard to explain, but just that it's going to be a slow journey. And I made progress today, and I think it's a direct result of being at worship yesterday and having people pray for us. But this morning, for the first time since the hurricane, I got up and I did 2.5 videos of Shelley Fabulous 50 videos that I love and I tell people about. And it just felt good to do something normal. But it reminded me, I don't have my weights, I don't have my scales, I don't have all the things we can take for granted in our home. And yes, they're just things, but they're part of what makes you stable and balanced. And my dogs, Peanut and Leo, this morning, we got up and went for a good 25-30 minute walk in the dark before I worked out. And I was thinking, we need routine, but especially they need routine, and especially Peanut is, I always got up and walked them, and then I would come home and do the videos, and we had our routine, and they would eat, and we've kind of just been jumbled. And especially with Peanut losing more sight, we're going to the vet today to figure out what's going on with him. Giving him that stability is not only a gift for me and for Greg, but for them. Like, then they calm down. They need more of that rhythm and stability because everything's unpredictable. So that felt really, really good this morning. I'm really grateful. The worship music always feels so good. And I've been able to go to church the last 2 weekends, but this was the first weekend since the storm Greg and I could go together and worship. And it was just really nice to be together in worship and in prayer and in the reality of this storm and how much it has shook us to the core in how we feel stable and secure and our home and what we have. It's taken us 11 months to rebuild, because when you move to any new place, as wonderful as it is, it takes you at least a few months to feel like you're going home. I remember when I would fly out and I'd fly back, I'd think, oh, am I going home, or is Minnesota home? And I feel like about 6 months in, it started to feel like, oh, Florida's my home. This is where I go to. This is home. And now that's gone. That's it's gone for now. So I hope, rather than you thinking I'm selfish to be sad about losing my things or thinking I'm materialistic, that you recognize that this is not about the things. It's about the stability and security that a home provides for people and to people. And what I wanted to tell you behind the curtain this morning is, good morning. I see Bill and Joseph. Good morning. Thank you for being with me this morning. What I wanted to tell you this morning is that, for those of you that have known me a long time, you know that my birth name is Ann Sloan. That was my given name at birth. But I have been speaking for about 20 years and full-time professionally for about 10 years. And when I started writing books and speaking, I love the name Annie. It was always my nickname. is Annie or Annie Banani. And so my writing name is Annie, my professional name is Annie, and I talk to myself. So this is my secret, is that as much as I love my work and I'm a motivational speaker, I love talking to myself. And I have to sometimes talk to myself in the morning to motivate myself to do the good work I do. And so when I go for a walk in the morning, I talk to myself and I say, um, I, Annie, you got to keep speaking. Annie, you got to keep writing. Annie, people need you. Annie, your work makes a difference. And what I realized is that's the hurricane hit. I don't say Annie anymore. I say Anne. And Anne is kind of my serious name to myself when I am not being silly and playful and energetic, when I'm being concerned or serious. And so I say, Anne, today get up and take care of yourself. Anne, trust God to hold you in the midst of this storm of life. And I'm praying and hopeful to get back to Annie. And that's what I wanted to say today, is that I love Annie. I love being called Annie. And about 10 years ago, really committed to that as my full-time name. But Anne was my name prior to my business. And in the seriousness of this storm, I hear myself calling myself Anne, not Annie. So anyway, I just want to say I hope you have a marvelous Monday. I hope that you color this clean slate of a new week with goodness and kindness and generosity, because giving is one of the greatest joys. Always good to be grateful, but even better to be generous. So I hope you have a blessed week. Thank you for being with me, and take care. And please keep Southwest Florida in your prayers. We need it. Thank you.